My name is Giuseppe Lauro. In America, I'm called Joe Lauro. I was born in Mola di Bari, Italy, and I emigrated to America during my first year into Brooklyn, New York. My family came here in 1972. I'm currently an architect, and I am the co-managing director of the New York office, but my life has been spent in Brooklyn and in the city of New York. So my family came here in 1972, but my father came here a few years before. Although I have two older sisters and a younger brother, my two older sisters were also born in Italy like myself. And my father, although he had an established life, they owned a home, they had a career, he recognized that there was only going to be so much opportunity in Italy. And it was tough times in Italy at that time, and decided to come here and start a life for us here. So once he established himself here, he came for us, and my mother, my two older sisters, and myself came here to the United States. We emigrated to Brooklyn, as I said before, and what was really important then was to constantly thinking about how we can establish ourselves as a family, and to look at the best opportunities here in the United States and take advantage of the American dream, if you will. My father was fortunate, and my mother, because they had siblings that came along with them. So the majority of both of our families came here to the United States. So we were able to, what I like to say is when we came here, we weren't immigrants in the truest sense of the word. What we were Italians living an Italian life in America. And I feel very fortunate about that, because I had all my cousins here, I had my aunts and my uncles, and we were strange to the locals, but not strange to each other. And we got to replicate the life that my family had in Italy here. And that, I think, really started to establish the kind of person that I became, in that family is everything. As I started my own family with my own children, it really established how I was going to live my life, which was making sure that I shared my life with my family and that I was supportive to them. And that all happened because my life in America was around our family unit. So when you are an immigrant and you see how, as Italians, we are trying to make our way in America, of course, the people that are closest to you are the people that are your inspiration. So for me, my father was my hero, and he taught me everything that I needed to know about my life and my responsibility as a father, as a husband, to my children. He always created an example. He and my mother, I should say. I don't want to suggest that my mother, but my father was the one that really instilled into me a work ethic that served me for the rest of my life. Because while I became my father was a construction worker. While he was working with his hands and he was blue collar, he showed a work ethic that allowed for me to learn from that and the importance of his responsibility to us. That when I went into my career as a white collar person, right, as an architect, and although I was inspired by construction, I went into a profession. The years that I spent with my father, thinking about my responsibility, thinking about importance of being accountable, having that work ethic, I think has always served me well and has allowed me to grow professionally, because of that constant fear of failure and that constant sort of responsibility I had to my wife and children. I think when I look back, he was always very much teaching me how to be responsible and teaching me all the things that we need to do as men, frankly. And when I look back, I think about that very hands-on Italian way in a lot of ways, that our time together is important and valuable, and that we have to support each other and really provide for our families. And I think that when I look back, that's something that I'll always remember has influenced me the most. So today, I'm an architect, and I look back throughout my career, and I think of all the different moments in my time that what influenced me, how growing up in an Italian-American family influenced me. And I always think about the fact that professionally, that work ethic has always put me in a position to be successful. So I currently am working on some very large-scale projects here in the city. I'm working on the new Terminal 1 at JFK. And years ago, I worked on FIAO, which is the Il Centro, and I was able to do that as a project of passion because I grew up in the neighborhood that the community center was built. I got to meet with Jack Spatola on a daily basis to help him realize his vision. And I think of that bridge of when I think of the work that I've done, right, I think about how I've gotten there through my work ethic, but I also think about the fact that most of the work that I'm doing today is community-based, and it is in help of other people that are less fortunate. And when I think about my journey as a young, a family of immigrants that didn't speak the language, and having their family as a support system, we were fortunate. But many people aren't. So I look at where I've gone professionally, and I look at different ways in which I can help people have a future in America and have a future in this world, and I can try to do that through the lens of design. And that's what inspires me today. A lot of the work that I do is thinking about how I can help people live a better life. When I think about my life, I think about where it started, and that my family, my mother and my father, made a decision to come to America because they wanted to give me an opportunity, me, my sister, and my younger brother, an opportunity. And I think when it's all said and done, I want to be remembered as having taken advantage of that opportunity, and then by my children and my wife as a good husband and a good father. And if I could be those things, when people look back on my life, I will be very satisfied and very happy, because those are the things that are most important to me. When I think about my life professionally, I start to think about some of the works that will have been left behind. I take a lot of pride in Il Centro, but I also take a lot of pride in projects like airports that millions of people will utilize throughout the course of their lives and throughout the course of a year, and to have some authorship on projects like that. I feel like that's something that's important to me and that I'll be very proud of, and people can experience.